Before we get to making the sauce, we're gonna need some elbow mac and cheese, but you're gonna cook about 2 cups of this. You wanna cook them to al dente. Once it's done, you're just going to strain it, and then you're gonna add a little oil to it just to keep it from sticking. That's what I did here. Also, don't forget to add a little salt while it's cooking. All right, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get to making the sauce. All right, so into a pan over medium heat, you're going to add in your butter. You're just gonna make sure that the butter is not melting. This is unsalted butter as well, and it's a half a stick. Just so we all clear, this is the sauce for the mac and cheese. And once the butter is fully melted, you're going to add in your 2 tablespoons of flour. I'm just going to mix it in really good. Just trying to make a nice, good base. Alrighty, just want to cook that flour down for just about 1 or 2 minutes. Once, make sure that you're stirring this consistently. You do not want to stop stirring this. Next, I recommend that you get a whisk for this actually, because we're going to slowly incorporate 2 cups of milk, but you don't want to add it all in at once. Just want to slowly incorporate it into the dish. It's starting to thicken up. So you're just going to keep stirring this. After you add in all of the milk, you're just going to keep stirring it. It starts to boil just a little bit. Should come to like a low boil, or once you start to see the sauce thicken up. As you can see, the roux is starting to come to a low boil. This is when you will know it's time to add the cheese. So right now, before we add in our cheese, we're going to lower the temperature on this. All right, so you can use any 3 cheeses you want. This is the cheese I went with. I have smoked Gouda, cheddar cheese, and I wanted to try this ghost pepper cheese out as well. If you do go for the ghost pepper cheese, just know it's very, very spicy. Okay, so you're just gonna incorporate the cheese, and you're just gonna add in 1 cup of each cheese. So while you add in the cheese, just make sure that you continue to whisk. Don't stop whisking. Then add in your cup of Gouda. You're just gonna whisk. Keep whisking that in. You're gonna add in a cup of your smoked Gouda. And then lastly, you're gonna add in a cup of cheddar cheese. Now we're gonna add in our cooked noodles. There should already be salt on the noodles, so you shouldn't have to add any salt, really that much salt to the cheese. All right, now your mac and cheese is ready. Let's go ahead and start preparing the chicken. So we're gonna have to let this cool down. You don't wanna do this while it's hot. So we're gonna let this cool down. Honestly, you want this to be as cold as possible. While we're doing our chicken prep and all that stuff, it should be done cooling by the time that's up. Just keep it in a cool place because it's gonna be extremely hard to stuff the chicken with hot mac and cheese. Plus it's a lot runny, so I'm gonna let it get solid, get a solid texture. All right, so for this recipe, it calls for about 12 wings. So we're gonna go ahead and prep out 12 wings. Now I've already gotten a lot of it started because this process is going to be very tedious. So I just went ahead and got me some already prepped out just for time purposes. But I also want to take the time out to show you guys how to do it as well. So that's why it's a complete, like 3 different piles. We're not gonna be using this one, the drums. We're going to be saving these for another time. But if you want to use it, by all means, go ahead and use it. But for this recipe, we're just gonna be using the wing side. It's the easiest process. It's the easiest one to stuff. You won't be able to stuff this as well. All right, so first you want to cut the chicken drum part off. You just want to cut between the joints. It should be an easy cut. It shouldn't feel like you're sawing through a bone. All right, we're just gonna put that to the side. We're gonna save this for a different recipe, or you can go ahead and dress it up and eat it tonight without being stuffed. Either way, honestly, it'd be great. All right, so for this part, you wanna make sure that you cut the bone in half. Like a joint in between the bone right here. I don't know if you guys can see that how well you guys can see this, but it's a bone inside of here. So pretty much what you want to do is just pretty much pull the skin back. You want to stick your thumb in there. And you want to just get some separation between that bone. We're going to pull it out without destroying the chicken, okay? You're just pretty much pulling the bones out. Listen, whoever you're making this dish for, I hope they love you and I hope you love them dearly, because this dish is going to take you some time, especially with this part. So this is how it's supposed to look. You're just going to use your fingers to try to make like a pocket inside of it. Just try to stretch it out as far as possible without, ripping it. And it should look like this. It'll help if you got some jumbo wings as well. So after you've done deboning the chicken, we're gonna go ahead and get our breading station set up so we can bread the chicken. All right, for the wet batter, you're gonna need 1 cup of cornstarch, 1 cup of flour. You're gonna need 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper. For spice, you're gonna add in some Cajun seasoning. Just wanna add 1 tablespoon. Next, you wanna get you a 1.5 cups of cold water. Make sure that the water is really cold. All right, now that we have the wet coating done, we're gonna start the dry coating. So for the dry coating, you're going to add 2 cups of flour. This is just 2 cups right here. That's all I have left. A teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of black pepper. Gonna add a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. Garlic powder, add a tablespoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of onion powder. All right, so now that our dry coating is done and our wet coating is done, we're going to go ahead and place these to the side. And now it's time for the most tedious part, which is just stuffing the chicken. All right, now for the messy part. So first we're going to take it and we're going to dip it inside of our wet batch. It's time for the dry batch. I'm going to shake off any excess flour. Be careful not to shake out the mac and cheese. Do not forget that it is mac and cheese in this. All right, we're gonna shake out the extra one and we're gonna put it on the rack. Repeat the process until you are completely done. Try not to add any of this extra sauce inside, drippings in there. Just try to get off any of this excess drip, okay? Because you don't wanna make your flour too clumpy. All right, and once you're done coating your chicken, this is exactly how it should look. Fully coated, and then we're just gonna place it to the side. Here's a tip for frying chicken. After you get done coating it, always allow it to sit to let the flour seep onto the chicken and stick to the chicken. That way, when you add it to the oil, all of your flour won't fall off. So this is a cool trick. So you're just gonna let this sit to the side for a few minutes while we wait for our oil to heat up. Whenever you see the wood bubbling like that, that's how you know your oil is ready. And next, we're just gonna add our chicken in. I cook like 4 or 5 at a time, or depending on how big your skillet is. You just don't wanna cook too much at once because it's gonna mess up the chicken. All right, while the chicken is cooked, get you a measuring cup. Into the measuring cup, you're gonna add in some Frank's hot sauce. You're gonna add a 1/2 cup of the honey. You're gonna add a tablespoon of butter, unsalted butter. Then you're gonna pop it in the microwave 30 to 45 seconds or until the butter is melted and it's hot. All right, now our chicken is ready. We're gonna go ahead and place it on the cooling rack and we're going to go ahead and start to add our hot honey sauce to it. And there you have it, guys. Hot honey wings stuffed with ghost pepper, mac and cheese. If you like my videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you think about this recipe in the comments section. Until next time. Listen, we ain't losing no weight this summer.